Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel and welcome to the first EFL Championship predictions for 2025. We're in the middle of this intense 5-game sort of period for all the teams, and there's a full programme taking place on Wednesday, the 1st of January, to kick the new year off. And we said goodbye to the 2024 fixtures at the weekend. On Sunday the 29th, there was a full set of matches, and we certainly had a few eye-opening scorelines. One that caught the eye for me was Watford losing their proud unbeaten home record to Cardiff. So a much-needed win for Cardiff. Their first away win, Watford's first home defeat. So that was one that caught the eye for me, but there were a few, as we'll go through. A few upsets, a few that perhaps unexpected coupon busters, as you might say. And another one that caught the eye was Stoke beating Sunderland late on. So Sunderland there slipping up against Stoke, who had had a real poor patch of form of late. So it just goes to show, in so many games on the trot, anyone can beat anybody. It is probably the most difficultly to predict in the whole of the football world, for anyone beating anybody, which makes it really interesting and fun for us all to watch and follow. So enough of my waffling on. Let's get on with the predictions then for the new year and see who's going to be have a happy start. So the first up then on New Year's Day is the two 12:30 games and a 1 o'clock game they've scheduled this time. The first of those is Plymouth against Bristol City. Now, Plymouth went down 2-0 to Oxford. Gary Rowett has started off very well at Oxford. Probably some nice fixtures to do it, but you still have to turn around what was a losing mindset at Oxford. So he's done well there. They put Plymouth away by 2-0. And Bristol City played Portsmouth. If you may remember, Portsmouth dismissed them quite easily a few weeks ago at the start of December. So Bristol City got their revenge, and it was one of those Portsmouth games where they were 2 or 3-0 down within the first half an hour. So their travelling fans, over 3,500 of them, trekked up to Bristol, to Ashton Gate, and will have been disappointed to see their side all but out of the game within the first half an hour. That's, as I said the other day when it happened, it's a horrible thing to you trek and you go with such optimism, and the whole match is done and dusted by and large. You do get some free comebacks, but not that often. So Bristol City got their revenge and snapped up their second win of this week. Their second home win. They will go down to Plymouth fairly confident, I think. And Plymouth, although their home record, they've only lost twice, you see. They're bottom of the table, but 4 wins, 4 draws, and only 2 losses. It's their dreadful away record that's really pinned them to the bottom of the league. And I think Bristol City may just go down and be the third side to get all 3 points. I think there's a bit of a feel-good factor with the 2 wins. They could have had more goals against. Probably should have had more goals against Portsmouth, but it's a nice feeling, isn't it, when you get a nice start to the match like that, and it's in the middle of a busy period. You can just cruise the match a little bit, and that's what they did. So I think they'll go down, and it'll be an excellent atmosphere, as it always is in that match. Plymouth 1, Bristol City 2. Takes us on to Queen's Park Rangers and Watford. Now, Queen's Park Rangers had an excellent 1-1 draw at Norwich. I took them to get beat there, I must admit, because I just thought Norwich's home record, is pretty good. You have to do well to go and get results there, and QPR obviously did do that. And as I said, QPR playing Watford. Now, Watford surrendered their proud unbeaten record. It was close to the other night, wasn't it? Well, it wasn't close to being lost, but they just struggled to beat Portsmouth at home in the last match, and so a few cracks may be there at the moment with Watford, but they will go to Queen's Park Rangers, a local-ish game coming in from Hertfordshire into West London, and hopefully it'll be a decent match. I'm sure it will be, but I'm going to take a draw. I think both sides will probably be quite content with that. Because at the end of the day, Watford is still a top 7 side, and they're difficult nut to get points off. So I'm going to take Queen's Park Rangers and Watford to share the spoils in a 1-each draw. That takes us on to Millwall and Oxford. Millwall slugged out a 0-0 draw at Coventry. So not much to do there. And Oxford, as I say, Millwall playing Oxford, and Oxford, as I say, chalked up their second win under Gary Rowett, 2-0 against Plymouth. And it's always nice. They've won 2 games now against sides down that near the bottom of that table. And their home record still stacks up pretty nicely. 13, admittedly they played 13 at home and only 10 away. So they've got to just be mindful of that. However, Oxford, I think, will go and grab a much needed away point. They've only grabbed 2 on the road this season. Millwall just have gone into their shell a little bit with the change of coach and everything else. So I'm going to take it to be Millwall 1, Oxford 1, another 1-all draw in that one. Now we have Burnley against Stoke. Now Burnley, as we know, unbeaten at home so far this season, not hardly conceding any goals. They played out a 0-0 draw with Middlesbrough, which I guess they, being the away side, will be the happier with Burnley. That is, will be the happier team from that one. So I think their just defensive record is, as we know, ridiculously good. I think it'll be added to here. There's that statistic. I think they'll keep a clean sheet against Stoke, albeit Stoke did have that morale-boosting win against Sunderland. Late on, it was. So hats off to them for coming up with that result at home. And Sunderland are just having a little bit of a dodgy little run at the moment, but they are still in the top 4 and 6 points clear of the 5th place at the moment. So they've got a little bit of wriggle room to steady the ship. So I think here then Stoke will go to Burnley and unfortunately come up against that brick wall of a defence, and Burnley will eke out that, as they have been doing, a 2-0 win quite nicely. So Burnley 2, Stoke City 0. Then we go, we're in the 3 o'clocks now, of course, UK time on Wednesday, being a bank holiday. It's Cardiff City against Coventry City. Now, Cardiff had that real eye-opening win against Watford. As I say, first team to go there, first away win, and first team to go to Watford and win. Those are the sort of things that get thrown up at this time of year in particular, when so many games are being rattled along. Coventry, we know their away record is not that great, and they suffered a 4-1 loss, as you may recall, down at Portsmouth last time out. So I want to try and redress that. But I think Cardiff might sneak another one here. I just think that their home form hasn't been that bad. They've had 4 wins, but no draws and 7 defeats. So that does sound quite bad, I suppose. But it's you can just, they had some good results sometimes. They've done it in spikes. I think that's what's given them the feel that they're okay at home. They have little streaks of wins and streaks of losses. So anyway, I think they'll be back at home comforts to take the points here against Coventry. Cardiff City 2, Coventry City 1. Then Leeds, who now are looking very good at the top. A plus 29 goal difference, by the way. That's worth an extra point against anybody else at the moment, quite comfortably. When I say an extra point, what I mean is if the points are level, they're automatically above the other teams. Their home record is absolutely second to none. 10 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. I think they'll add another stat in the win column. They're playing Blackburn Rovers, who've just hit the buffers a little bit now after those streak of wins. As I was just saying, this can happen. It feels slightly strange that we're talking about Blackburn having a little bit of a struggling period, having had 6 wins on the trot. So I think Leeds will put them away effectively, efficiently, and Leeds to be 2-0 winners on the day. Then we go to Luton and Norwich. Now, on paper, this should be a really good game to watch. Two good sides, two sides that like to knock it about, play with a bit of, a bit of passion in there, and they like to play their football. I think, although Luton went to their 9th successive away loss down at Swansea by 2-1, having a player sent off as well didn't help their cause, unfortunately. Norwich, as I say, will be disappointed with their 1-1 draw against QPR at home. They'll have wanted a bit more out of that match, obviously, as anyone would. But I still think these two sides will serve up some entertainment for us on New Year's Day. I think it'll be a shared draw. I'm going to go for Luton Town 2, Norwich 2. Now we have Portsmouth against Swansea. Now Portsmouth sort of made some odd decisions in their team selection against Bristol City, I have to say. They played what you might call fringe players, with, as some are suggesting, targeting this next home match for the points more so than away to Bristol City. I'm not so sure about that logic myself, given Bristol City being quite flaky a lot of the season, at home or away. I think I'm not sure. I think that's slightly misplaced judgment, but that's only my take on it. So Portsmouth will be looking definitely for home comforts. Otherwise, there will be some red faces possibly with the people that they left out, the players that they left out against Bristol City. Whereby Swansea, as I say, turned Luton over and are generally now just moving slowly up the table. They're on 33 points, 9th place, 4 points behind the bottom, the last playoff slot. So they'll have their eyes on that. And I think they will go down and come away with the points. I think it's going to be Portsmouth 1, Swansea City 2. Sheffield Wednesday against Derby is the next one on the list, and Derby unluckily went down to Leeds, having had a really good win against West Brom the previous match in front of that brilliant, excellent full house. They went down only by 1-0, but Leeds doing what Leeds have been doing for most of the season, keeping, if they can't win in style, then they make sure they win almost most weeks. So good. So that's what happened there. Derby, no disgrace at all to narrowly lose, but they'll want to not go into a back-to-back defeat. But unfortunately, I think Sheffield Wednesday, they're just a bit of an enigma. They're just in a slap bang in the middle of the table. Another team that are just on the periphery of the playoffs, possibly. They got easily beaten, or on paper anyway. Perhaps it was a couple of late on goals by Preston. But they went down 3-1 to Preston, which surprised me a bit, because I thought Sheffield Wednesday were just holding up pretty well. I think they'll see this one, but it'll be a narrow win. Sheffield Wednesday to win by 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby 0. 3 left then, and it's West Bromwich Albion against Preston. As I say, Preston had that really good home win against Sheffield Wednesday. A couple of goals late on, but never mind. They put them in and got the points. And West Bromwich Albion they've had a lot of draws this season, but the one they picked up on Sunday, last Sunday, will be a pleasing one for them because it was away at Sheffield United. So that will be a good point. They've had 12 draws now this season. A lot of those they'll be disappointed with, but not this one. So that was a good result for them. I think they'll take that confidence, that extra bit of a bounce into their home game against Preston and take that one, not by much, because Preston are showing some good form at the moment, but I think they'll just squeak it, and Preston's away record is only the 1 win so far, so I'm going West Bromwich Albion 2, Preston North End 1. 2 to go then. And we have Hull City, who have one of the other eye-opening scorelines on the holiday Sunday matches, and that was an excellent 1-0 win at Blackburn. So they are slowly but surely starting to turn their fortunes around, maybe. Edged out of the bottom 3. They're now on 22 points. So yes, they've just gone above the line, and that's where they want to stay, I'm sure. And this is a tough one. This will be a test of their newfound confidence, maybe. Home to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough had a draw, as I say, 0-0 draw with Burnley. They probably won't be too disappointed with that, but it was at home. And I think it's going to be another very tight game here. In fact, I'm going to mark it down as another 0-0 draw for Middlesbrough. So, and Hull will probably take that welcome point as well. Yes, I'm going to say Hull City 0, Middlesbrough 0, with Hull's renewed form, just giving them a chance. And lastly, we have Sunderland and Sheffield United. Sunderland, as I say, have got this bit of wriggle room with a bit of breathing space in the top four. They've 7 points off the top themselves now, off the top place, off Leeds. But they still have a healthy 6 point gap over Blackburn in fifth. So they are at home to Sheffield United. Now, Sheffield United have just had a few draws of late, and they won't want to let that go into a sort of streak of not winning. So they've had a couple of a draw and a loss, actually. I check. So they're on 49 points. And as I say, they drew at West Brom, drew home to West Brom. So they're away to Sunderland, which I think is a tricky one, but one that they'll re-engage with the winning ways. I'm going to give them 3 points here. I think Sunderland are just there at the moment, a little bit, having a bit of a wobble. And I think they'll go down, the odd goal in 3, I'm going to take it as Sunderland 1, Sheffield United 2. So there we go. We've had a lot of games to get through in the past few days. Another 12 there. We'll have another 12 to preview for the incoming weekend, which I will clip up, a video clip up on here sometime on Friday, I would think. So that's it. That's the end of 24. It's the first programme of 25. Everybody will be looking to get off to a winning start. We'll see who does and who doesn't. It'll all be fun, but more importantly than that, football is football, sport is sport. But let's hope that we all have, and you all have, a very happy and prosperous new year. And once again, thank you for your continued support of the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you all again in 2025. Happy New Year to everyone. Stay healthy and take care.